The deep sea is vast, dark, and nearly freezing cold, and it is also full of giants. As we begin to descend the ocean depths, we first pass through the pelagic zone. Here is where almost all ocean life exists, thanks to the sun's penetrating energy. Here, animals are colorful and abundant. Next, we reach the mesopelagic zone, also known as the ocean twilight zone. Here, light becomes very dim, and photosynthesis becomes impossible. Below 1,000 meters, all sunlight disappears, and we enter into the midnight zone, or the bathyc pelagic zone. The only light that can be seen down here is the glowing bioluminescence from the skin of squids or the lures of anglerfish. The pressure here is immense. The temperature is shockingly low, but the ocean goes deeper still. The abyssal pelagic zone reaches depths of up to 6,000 meters, with pressure 600 times that of our terrestrial world. The abyssal realm is considered the single largest ecosystem for life on Earth, covering 300 million square kilometers, about 60% of the surface of the globe. But the deepness of the ocean doesn't stop there. The hedopelagic zone is the deepest ocean region. It's found from a depth of about 6,000 to 11,000 meters and exists in long, narrow, topographic V-shaped trenches. The deepest of these ever discovered is the Mariana Trench. And despite all logic, life survives in these darkest depths, and the creatures here have evolved to be exceedingly freaky. From the ghostly, to the terrifying, to the absolutely gigantic. The giant Japanese spider crab, the big red jellyfish, the king of herrings oarfish, the giant squid, the Greenland shark, and the giant isopods. These animals are all examples of deep-sea gigantism, the tendency that deep-sea animals have to be substantially larger than their shallow water counterparts. In waters intensely cold and dark, why do these leviathans emerge? Is it an eerie coincidence of the deep dark sea, or a feature of life in this inhospitable landscape? Below 400 meters, food becomes quite scarce in the ocean. As sunlight tapers off, photosynthetic algae and plankton disappear too. And without this crucial part of the food chain, life gets markedly harder for deep-sea animals. Instead, most of them have to rely on detritus that rains down from shallower waters, a phenomenon called marine snow. Marine snow is mainly composed of dead plankton, fecal pellets, and bits of rotting corpses that fall to the seafloor as fine particles. Some animals rely directly and completely on marine snow. The vampire squid, for example, has special adaptations to help them better catch and eat the falling particles. Two long filaments extend from their bodies to capture any that drifts past them. In their habitat, 900 meters deep, marine snow is the backbone for all life in the deep, but it can't support a great deal of biomass. The number of creatures in the deep is sparse, and the food web is strained. Many animals don't eat marine snow directly, but rely on the pressure of predation in the ocean is extremely high. Any small fish, crustacean, or cephalopod has a big target on its back. Because of this, it became evolutionarily beneficial for some animals to shed their prey status and become top predators. Enter the giant squid, an icon and an enigma of the deep sea. By the turn of the 21st century, the giant squid was one of the few megafauna never photographed alive. What we know largely comes from specimens that have washed ashore. It was not until 2004 that the first photographs of a live giant squid in its natural habitat were taken. These photos were taken in the twilight zone at a depth of about 1,000 meters. While we may not know much about these mysterious creatures, we do know they are enormous. The largest individual ever found was 13 meters long as a school bus. It weighed around 275 kilograms, making it truly exceptional compared to most squid. Most squid are no more than 60 centimeters long, highlighting the giant squid's uniqueness. Scientists believe that such a tremendous size leaves them with few predators. This size allows them to comfortably prey on deep-sea fish and other squid species. They grab their prey with two extremely long tentacles. As impressive as the giant squid is, it is not the largest of the deep-sea squids. The colossal squid, sometimes called the Antarctic squid, is the largest invertebrate in the world. They are shorter in length than the giant squid at only 10 meters. However, they can weigh between 500 and 700 kilograms, lurking at depths over 2,000 meters. It's easy to imagine this massive creature as an aggressive top predator darting through the water. It could be snatching prey and dominating its adversaries. But the colossal squid teaches us something different about deep-sea giants. They aren't necessarily the dominating predatory force we often imagine. With their large size comes an extremely slow metabolism. The colossal squid takes Kleber's law to the next level. Kleber's law states that metabolism doesn't scale linearly with body size as one might predict. A horse that weighs 1,000 times more than a mouse doesn't require 1,000 times more energy. Instead, metabolism scales with an animal's mass to the 3/4 power. This principle applies to all life on Earth, from blue whales to individual cells. It's largely a consequence of the physics and geometry of animal circulatory systems. An animal's surface area to volume ratio and the fractal nature of blood vessels play a significant role. All this means that the larger an animal is, the more efficient it becomes. The colossal squid seems to exemplify this efficiency remarkably well. One study estimated the metabolic rate of the colossal squid to be so low that they only burn 45 calories per day. This astonishing fact reveals how uniquely adapted these creatures are to their environment. An adult toothfish requires just 0.03 kilograms of food each day. This single fish would feed a colossal squid weighing 500 kilograms for about 200 days. Colossal squids have energy requirements that are 300 to 600 times lower than other top predators. This suggests a particularly slow pace of life for the colossal squid. Unlike our imagination of epic battles, it patiently waits for prey to approach. Once prey is near, it uses the hooks on its arms and tentacles to ensnare it. This opportunistic lifestyle makes sense in deep water, where visibility is limited. Despite having the largest eyes of any animal, its eyes serve mainly to avoid predators. These eyes can grow up to 30 centimeters wide, enhancing its awareness of surroundings. Few creatures can hunt such a large squid, but sperm whales are a notable exception. Food scarcity and avoiding predators are major pressures for deep-sea animals. The cold, deep water itself also encourages gigantism in these animals. Birdman's rule states that cold environment animals tend to be larger than those in warm areas. Historically, this has been true for warm-blooded animals like birds and mammals. But does this trend also apply to ectotherms, like squids and crabs? This area of science remains surprisingly controversial but shows some clear trends. Certain ectotherm species indeed grow larger in colder temperatures. This phenomenon is especially evident in the polar regions of the Earth. Where the water is both deep and polar, one of the strangest giants exists. The Greenland shark is the largest fish in the Arctic Ocean, reaching 7 meters long. It can weigh as much as 1,400 kilograms and lives at depths over 2,000 meters. This shark thrives in water temperatures between -2 and 7 degrees Celsius. It's unique for being the only shark that can endure Arctic cold year-round. This extreme cold has not only made the shark large, but also ancient. Greenland sharks are the longest living vertebrates in the world. Some individuals are believed to be alive since before Columbus sailed to America. They might have witnessed the Renaissance, even the rise and fall of empires. Scientists estimate their average lifespan to be at least 272 years. Some individuals may live well over 500 years, making them true ocean sages. Inside their eyes, proteins form before birth, covered by layers of the lens. These proteins do not degrade with age, allowing for carbon dating. Scientists can roughly determine the age of sharks. One 5-meter female was assessed to be between 272 and 512 years old. These sharks don't even reach reproductive age until around 150 years old. Their astoundingly long life can be attributed to their exceedingly low metabolism. Much like the colossal squid, they are extremely slow and opportunistic feeders. They eat some fish and squid and scavenge any carcass they can find. Their stomach contents have even included polar bears, horses, and reindeer. Just like the giant squids, they too would struggle to spot and chase prey in the pitch-black waters. But even if the water wasn't so dark, the sharks still couldn't see because a particular crustacean constantly latches onto their eyeballs, damaging them to the point of total blindness. The thought of drifting along in -2-degree pitch-black water for 500 years with crustaceans attached to your eyeballs gives me heebie-jeebies of the highest order. The animals we've discussed so far are certainly strange, incredible, and even creepy. But we've only gone as deep as the meso and bathypelagic zones, 200 to 4,000 meters down. The ocean goes deeper still and reveals one of the most extreme cases of deep-sea gigantism ever discovered. In the Hadal Trenches, 6,000 to 11,000 meters deep, the temperature varies between 1 and 4 degrees Celsius. There is no light, and the pressure can reach levels 1,100 times that of the surface. Here, the marine snow that gives life to most of the deep barely trickles down. 90% of it never reaches past the twilight zone. At these depths, it seems like life should be impossible. But instead, the deeper you go, the more you'll find colossal amphipods crawling along the bottom. Shallow water amphipods are usually around 5 millimeters to 20 millimeters in length, but these deep water behemoths can grow up to 34 centimeters long. Something that's often the size of a gnat at these depths is the size of a guinea pig. Alessala gigantea is known as the supergiant amphipode and is the largest amphipode ever discovered. Their gigantism is similar to that of the giant isopods that can measure up to 50 centimeters long. Their roly-poly cousins you might find in your garden are a mere 6 millimeters long. These amphipods and isopods are scavengers and detritivores, eating any decomposing material they can find. Their large body size may help them store as much food and energy as possible when they can find it. Relatably, when giant isopods find a significant food source, they gorge themselves to the point of compromising their locomotive ability. By doing this, they can survive long periods of famine. Giant isopods have been known to survive over 5 years without food in captivity. Their large body size also allows them to travel greater distances in search of their next meal. Another reason for their huge body size might have to do with the viscosity of the water at such depths. As we delve into the depths and cold temperatures of the ocean, we find a world unlike any other. Down in the abyss, water feels denser than what we experience at the surface. Larger body size may provide deep-sea invertebrates with a respiratory advantage, helping them navigate viscous forces. Despite these adaptations, it remains difficult to grasp how sufficient food exists at such depths to sustain these giants. Recently, researchers uncovered that some of these creatures might be feeding on a surprising food source. One hadal amphipod, known as Hierondelia gigas, possesses a unique cellulase enzyme. This enzyme appears designed to break down plant matter, which is quite unexpected. It's surprising because no plant life can exist in hadal depths, making this enzyme's purpose puzzling. The amphipods wouldn't need this enzyme to digest bits of algae in the form of marine snow. However, scientists tested the enzyme and found it could convert sawdust and wood pulp into glucose. Remarkably, its enzymatic activity increased under high hydrostatic pressure. The greater the pressure, the faster and more efficiently the enzyme digests cellulose. While no plants thrive in the hadal zone, large pieces of driftwood occasionally sink to the ocean floor. Being able to convert this wood into energy is crucial for survival in such a barren habitat. Although our understanding of the deep sea is limited, we recognize it as a fragile ecosystem. Many deep-sea animals exist on a knife edge, where any environmental change could spell disaster. Overfishing, plastic pollution, and climate change threaten this incredible ecosystem. These creatures may seem like they inhabit an alien world, yet they're intrinsically linked to ours. Scientists believe we may also depend on the health of their world. We are just beginning to grasp the intrinsic connections between ocean ecosystems and our terrestrial environments. Most importantly, who wants to live in a world stripped of its wonder? A world devoid of dazzling and baffling deep-sea creatures would be a lesser place. As a species, we focus on finding alien life beyond our planet. Yet we often overlook the extraordinary creatures living right beneath the surface of the ocean.